Welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time, around 20 minutes. Now, the purpose of this lecture series is very simple. We want you to cover your current affairs on a daily basis. All right? Because current affairs form a very important portion of your syllabus. In fact, 40 to 50% of your exam, whether it's prelims or it's mains, comes from current affairs. It is directly or indirectly related to current affairs. Therefore, covering current affairs on a daily basis becomes of extreme importance. You shouldn't neglect this part. But we also don't want you to spend your entire day in covering current affairs or reading the newspaper. You don't have to spend your entire day, because if you do that, then you won't have time to cover other aspects of your UPSC syllabus. All right, you need to pay attention to those aspects also. So for your facility, to help you guys, we have shortlisted the important current affairs from today's newspapers. Okay, the important ones. You don't have to read the entire newspaper. We have shortlisted the important items that are important from the perspective of featuring in the examination, civil services examination. All you have to do is spend around 25 minutes watching this lecture and spend another 20 to 25 minutes in revising this lecture. You can revise this lecture from our PDF file. Okay, this PDF file shall be shared on our Telegram channel, and the link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below. So make sure you click on that link. It will take you to our Telegram channel, and from there you can download the PDF of this lecture. So spend 20 to 25 minutes revising this lecture, okay? And in about 40 to 45 minutes or 40 to 50 minutes, you'll be done for the day as far as current affairs are concerned. Okay, so you'll be spending around 1 hour for current affairs, and the rest of the entire day is freed up for you guys. Okay, you can spend it as you want, as you like. Though, don't spend it on useless activities, spend it on covering essential aspects of your UPSC syllabus. But as far as current affairs are concerned, they would be taken care of in just 1 hour if you follow my lead, if you follow what I'm telling you. All right, enough of the introduction now. Let's straight away jump into the discussion. First, let's discuss what important topics I have shortlisted from today's newspaper. Okay, so here's a list of the topics. In total, I'll be focusing on these 4 topics because these are the 4 topics that are very important from the perspective of civil services examination, whether UPSC or state civil services examination. Number 1 is Bob Khathing Museum, which has been inaugurated in Tawang of Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, now what is this significance? What is the significance of this museum? Who was Bob Khathing? What is his contribution in making India what it is today? Okay, so we'll be taking a look at the heroes of Northeast India. So we'll cover this topic. Then 4th November 1979 was the time when Iranian students actually invaded American embassy in Tehran. Okay, now that was the peak of Islamic revolution in Iran, and from then onwards, Iran and USA have not seen eye to eye. Okay, so November 4th marks the anniversary of this tragic event. So we'll talk about Islamic revolution of Iran. Then recently or currently, Intersex Awareness Week is going on. Okay, though it's not going on right now, but it has just passed basically. So what is this Intersex Awareness Week? Who are intersex people? We'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll talk about Dutch gravity canal system. Because as you guys all know, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu wants to build a new capital for Andhra Pradesh. Earlier, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana were united and they had a capital called Hyderabad. But now Andhra Pradesh is separate. Telangana gets to take Hyderabad. Andhra Pradesh has to create a new capital. So Chandrababu Naidu is creating a new capital for Andhra Pradesh in Amravati. So he's basically giving out tenders for various projects in Amravati to build this capital city. One such project is gravity canal system to manage the flood system, or to manage in case Amravati gets flooded because of various reasons. Okay, so what is this Dutch gravity canal system? We'll talk about this. All right, okay, let's begin this lecture. Let's begin our discussions with news item number 1, which is Bob Khathing Museum. Now you see, for the past few years, Government of India is trying to pay a lot of attention to Northeast region of India. Okay? And one such step that they have taken in this endeavor of theirs is that they are honoring the heroes from the past, the heroes from Northeastern region in the past. Okay? One such hero was Major Ralengao Bob Khating. And recently, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated his museum in Tawang of Arunachal Pradesh. You see, for the past many years, we have not been paying that much attention to Northeastern region. Northeastern region deserves much more attention. And one way of giving them attention is by paying tributes to the heroes, their contributions to India. Okay, so it's high time that we pay attention to Northeast region. It's high time that we honor their heroes, the heroes that came from that land. That is why Bob Khathing Museum was inaugurated. Plus, Bob Khathing made lot of contributions for India. Now, this museum was inaugurated through a virtual event on October 31st, the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is celebrated as National Unity Day. Why? Because Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was instrumental in integrating princely states into the Union of India. Okay, that's why National Unity Day is celebrated on his birth anniversary on October 31st. And October 31st, 2024, we inaugurated Major Ralengao Bob Khating Museum in Tawang, Arunachal Pradesh. Now, who was he? What were his contributions? Okay, so first let's talk about him, Bob Khating. So, Ranelgao Bob Khating was born on February 28, 1912 in Manipur's Ukhrul district. He was a tribal Naga, Tang Khul Naga, a particular tribe of Nagas. Okay, so he was a tribe. In 1939, during the Second World War, he joined the British Indian Army and got an emergency commission as an officer. He fought the Japanese forces in Burma and he was awarded a lot of awards by the British imperial power. Okay, he fought very bravely. But after World War II, these commissioned officers or emergency commissioned officers were left out. Okay, they were not decommissioned, but their job was finished. Now, when independent India was born in 1947, just 2 years after that, Bob Khating, joined Assam Rifles and served there for 2 years. So from 1949 to 1951, he served India through Assam Rifles. Okay. Then in 1951, he joined the Indian Frontier Administrative Services as an assistant political officer. And his major contribution was integrating Arunachal Pradesh into India. As a member of Indian Frontier Administrative Service, he played an instrumental role in integrating Arunachal Pradesh to India. He had many other laurels or many other contributions as well. So the first contribution is he led the expedition to peacefully integrate Tawang into India, which was claimed by China as being southern Tibet, but he was instrumental in integrating Tawang into Arunachal Pradesh and India. Okay, he was also instrumental in establishing essential military and security frameworks, such as Sashastra Seema Bal. He played a role in establishing that. Nagaland Armed Police. He played a role in that. Naga Regiment in the Indian Army. He played a role in that. Then he went on to serve as Deputy Commissioner DC of Mokok Chung in Nagaland, Development Commissioner in Sikkim, and Chief Secretary of Nagaland, the highest post given to an IS officer in a state. Okay. His career ended as ambassador to Burma in 1975. So he was chosen as the ambassador to Burma, or it's called Myanmar now. Okay. In 1975, he was the first person of tribal origin to be appointed ambassador in independent India. So he was the first tribal person to be given the post of ambassador to any country, though he died in Imphal on January 12th, 1990. So he made so many contributions for Mother India. Therefore, he should be remembered. And it is also a way of honoring Northeast. Okay, we need to create heroes from Northeastern region. All right. This topic is done. Now let's shift our focus to topic number 2, which is Islamic Revolution of Iran. On November 4th, students who had initially planned a sit-in at the embassy, which embassy? US Embassy, okay, forced the takeover of the premises. So they invaded US Embassy and took 98 Americans as hostage. Okay, that was a big event. And this event happened in 1979 at the peak of Islamic Revolution in Iran. Now, these students or these people were endorsed by Ayatollah Khomeini, the supreme leader of Iran after 1979. And he was also chosen as the leader of Islamic Revolution. Now, from November 4th, 1979, the hostages remained in Iran for 444 days. The hostage ended. The hostage crisis ended in 1981 when some of the hostages were returned to America. This was a very big event. Okay. And from then onwards, US and Iran relations have been soured. They are at their lowest since then. Okay. Now, what was this Islamic revolution all about? Okay, 1979 revolution, as they say in Iran also. Now, before 1979, Iran was ruled by Raza Pahlavi Shah, the Shah of Iran. It was under the control of Shah. And it was basically a monarchy, it was a dictatorship. But the Western journalists credit Shah for conducting various modernization reforms. In fact, Iran was a big modern power during the time of Shah. Okay, it was modernizing. Some people called it a secular country. It did not discriminate against minorities who were not from the Shia Islamic faith and all that stuff. But many people who did not support the Shah, they also accused him of various human rights violations, draconian laws, and many other things. In 1979, in 1978 basically, the popularity of Shah dramatically dipped and there were widespread protests. Okay, in February 1979, the protests grew so much that the Shah of Iran was deposed, he was toppled, and he was forced to exile. And the Shah's rule ended in that year. Okay, and it was taken over by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Okay, he was the leader of the revolution to depose of the Shah. Now, the reason why the students under the banner of Ayatollah Khomeini or under the banner of Islamic Revolution of Iran, they invaded US embassy. Why? Because the Shah of Iran actually fled Iran and he was admitted to a hospital in New York. Okay, so kind of America gave refuge to Shah of Iran. And the students and the people participating in this revolution were demanding that Shah should be returned to Iran so that we can punish him ourselves. Okay, but USA was not doing that. That is why initially these students decided to protest peacefully in and around the embassy. But the protests got violent and they invaded the embassy, destroyed all the documents. They did not destroy, they had to get all the documents. Plus, they accused all these Americans working in the embassy as being spies from US. That is why they took them hostage. Okay, the 1978-79 Islamic Revolution ended Iran's monarchy and replaced it with the Islamic Republic. So before that, it was a monarchy, but after 1979 revolution, it became Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay, it had a supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, and it also had democratic systems also. Okay, it had a parliament of sorts. Okay, it had elected leaders, like president was elected, but the supreme leader was the Shia cleric Ayatollah Khomeini. Okay, the Shah fled Iran in 1979 and traveled from country to country seeking safe haven. Khomeini returned from political exile on February 1 and he took over the reins of Iran. Now, what changed in Iran after 1979? Okay, before 1979, Iran was one of the most industrialized regions in Asia. Iran was basically a modern country. Okay, it was a secular country. There were no Islamic laws. I mean, not, I wouldn't say no Islamic laws, but the laws were pretty liberal. It was a liberal society. Okay, as far as religion is concerned. But after Islamic revolution, the new regime led by Ayatollah Khomeini implemented strict Islamic laws, regulation. Okay, it actually changed the daily lives of Iranian citizens. Mandatory hijab for women was made mandatory in public places, restriction of Western influences, a more conservative interpretation of Islam in governance and society was made. Economic system was restructured. The focus was on self-reliance. Foreign companies were thrown out, and all that stuff took place. Because took they picked up a feud with the Western countries, this new Islamic Republic. They were isolated by the Western nations. Okay, international relations wise, they were completely isolated from the West. Okay, and many sanctions were also imposed. But in recent years, why Iran has become popular? First of all, it's the anniversary of storming of American embassy in Tehran. Plus, recently, in a university in Tehran, a female lady actually stripped to her underwear. Okay, in a society where hijab is mandatory, covering your head is mandatory, she stripped to her underwear, protesting against these regulations, these strict hijab regulations. Okay, and for the longest time, Iran has been seeing countrywide protests for women rights. Okay, so people, some of the people, or most of the people, are now fed up of this regime. All right, that's about it. That's all you need to know from Iran. Now let's move on to our third topic of the day, which is Intersex Awareness Week. So, Intersex Awareness Day is observed every year on October 26th. And many organizations which are working for LGBTQ plus community celebrate October 26th as Intersex Awareness Day. Now, who are intersex people? Okay. As per the definition given by Office of United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, intersex person is someone born with sex characteristics such as reproductive organs, hormonal patterns, or sexual anatomy that do not fit typically binary notions of male or female bodies, which means that a person is born and he does not have complete male organs. He does not, he or she, that person is not born with complete female organs. Okay. It is a these sexual characteristics cannot be completely identified as male or female. Whether it's reproductive organs, they are not fully developed as male or fully developed as female genitalia, hormonal patterns which are generally found in males or females, or sexual anatomy. So these people are known as intersex. Okay, and the reason why they celebrate Awareness Day on October 26th is that generally people confuse intersex people with transgender. Okay, but there is a difference between transgender people and intersex people, though all of them are categorized under the umbrella banner of LGBTQ plus, but transgender and intersex people are different. So I'll tell you how. Look, intersex people are born with different biological bodily attributes, whereas transgender people, okay, people who categorize themselves as transgender, they are either born as male or either born as female as far as body goes. Okay, but they identify with a different gender. So a person who is biologically a male but identifies with the female gender. Okay, so sex and gender are different in this case. Sex is bodily biological function, gender is societal. So there might be people who are born as male but they identify more with females, or there are people who are born female with female genitalia but they identify with males. These people who identify with opposite gender or their biological organs are called transgender. Whereas intersex people are different. They are not born with either male or female genitalia or bodily characteristics. Okay, they are different. That is why Awareness Day is celebrated to make people aware of the categories. Okay, though all of them are categorized under LGBTQ plus. Okay, now why did people choose October 26th? Well, on this day in 1996, intersex activists Morgan Holmes and Max Beck actually were trying to attend American Academy of Pediatrics annual conference and they wanted to make a speech. Before 1996, American Academy of Pediatrics was actually proposing surgical methods or were mandating surgery for children to solve this problem of not fully formed genitalia, which intersex people suffer from. Okay, so these people were trying to oppose that you cannot make mandatory surgery a prescription, or you cannot make surgery mandatory for children who are not born with fully functional or fully formed either male or female genitalia. Okay, but they were thrown out of this conference. They were not allowed to speak. Security guards threw them out. Soon people gather around the venue, which was in Boston. Boston is a city in US in the state of Massachusetts, including allies from other organizations, and they held signs called hermaphrodites with attitude that we are going to protest. Okay, so from 1996 to 2003, this day was remembered by activists. In 2003, this day was rechristened as Intersex Awareness Day. Okay, and globally it is celebrated as Intersex Awareness Day. Now, what is the situation of intersex people in India? Okay, let's talk about that because that is also important. Now, there are mentions of sexless individuals. Okay, Hijra is a term used for them. Third gender is a term used for them in Indian scriptures. So, Indian scriptures going as back as 17th century do mention people who belong to the category of intersex people, and they mention them with different names. Okay, Hijra, sexless individual, the third gender. Now, the thing is, intersex people have a problem with this term called Hijra because Hijra, again, is an umbrella term which is used to categorize transgenders, intersex people, and other people from the LGBTQ plus community. Okay, so Hijra is an umbrella term under which transgender and intersex people both come. So that is why intersex people want that people shouldn't confuse us with transgender people. We are different. That is why they have a problem to come under this term called Hijra. Okay, an intersex person may identify as a man, a woman, or neither. Okay, and they do not at all identify with the Hijra communities. They do not like the name. They do not want to identify themselves as this because it is a umbrella term. They don't they I mean they don't want to categorize themselves as Hijra. In fact, they had a problem, one problem, though it was a landmark judgment and they really appreciated it. But they had one small problem with this Supreme Court judgment called Nalsa versus Union of India in 2014, in which Supreme Court made it mandatory that transgender people or the people of third gender are entitled to fundamental rights. Okay, now intersex people had small problem with this judgment, though they really appreciated this judgment, but they had a small problem. They said that please take us as a separate category. Don't club us with transgender people. Okay, in fact, in 2019, Madras High Court in this judgment banned sex reassignment surgeries on intersex babies and children. Okay, the reason why American Pediatrics Association, the reason why in 1996 people protested against American Pediatrics Association was that a mandatory surgery for children was made. Okay, Madras High Court actually banned that. Okay, you cannot commit or you cannot perform mandatory sex reassignment surgeries to bring them the people from the intersex community back to a male or female body. Okay, in fact, in 2019, Supreme Court, oh sorry, Government of India basically accepted the demands of intersex people for being in a separate category. Okay, they accepted their demand that they shouldn't be clubbed together with transgender people, and that is why intersex word was included in Transgender Person Protection of Rights and Act. A separate word was added for them. All right. Now there are many intersex activists also in India who have performed, who have actually given a lot to this nation. They have basically contributed a lot to this nation as well as the community. Okay, and their efforts should be appreciated. All right, that's about it as far as this issue is concerned. And now let's move on to our last issue of the day, which is Dutch gravity canal system. So basically, Chandrababu Naidu, since the partition of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, has been trying to create a new capital for Andhra Pradesh because the joint capital of these two states, Hyderabad, is given to Telangana because it lies in Telangana, right? Now, this new capital is being constructed in Amravati, and Chandrababu Naidu is very adamant on that. But after he got out of power, the new CM, Jagan Mohan Reddy, actually stopped all the projects going on in Amravati. Now that Chandrababu Naidu is back in power, snatching power from Jagan Mohan Reddy, he is again renewing all the projects in Amravati. Okay, some of these projects are gravity canals and reservoirs, ring roads. He has issued fresh tenders for all capital city projects. In fact, there is an organization called Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority, which has issued many tenders for various projects in Amravati. Okay. In fact, the World Bank has also agreed to provide Andhra Pradesh government with 15,000 crore of worth of funds to develop Amravati as the new capital. But World Bank has said that the state should take care of the problem of flooding. It should first create flood prevention plans before constructing this new city. All right. So World Bank is concerned regarding, or World Bank is concerned with respect to flooding in this region. And for that reason, Chandrababu Naidu or CRDA is working on gravity canals. And especially they are looking at Netherlands because Netherlands in the 17th century created a beautiful canal system, gravity canal system. So that is why these canals are called Dutch gravity canal system. Okay. So what are Dutch gravity canal systems? So under gravity canal system, a reservoir is created at a height. Okay. And from that reservoir, water flows into the canals. And the energy for flowing is taken from gravity. Okay. So reservoir is kept at a height so that it is easy for water to flow under the influence of gravity into these canals, and these canals actually spread out around the city. So whenever there is high rainfall, okay, the rainfall water gets accumulated in this canal, in these canals, and it gets drained out. Okay, plus it can also be used for irrigation and drinking water purposes. So under gravity canal system, water is headed upstream of headworks and thereby diverted to the canal system. The energy for the flow is taken from the gravity. As you can see in this is the canal, and water is stored. The reservoirs are at a height, and this canal is also downstream. It is I mean, from a height it is moving downwards. Okay, now this system was pioneered by Amsterdam, the capital city of Netherlands. So Amsterdam's canal system was built during the Dutch golden age in 17th century, spanning an era from around 1588 to 1672, when the Dutch empire, or the Dutch the Netherlands, Holland, was at its peak. Okay, the gravity canal reservoirs in Amravati are being built at Kondavati and Palavagu in Amravati only at a significant height. Okay, that's about it. That's all you need to know about gravity canal system. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added a lot of value to your preparation. Though this value would get really enhanced if you are sincere and regular with this lecture series. Plus, it would also get enhanced if you revise this lecture also. And you can revise this lecture from our PDF file shared on our Telegram channel. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. So make sure you check that out, because after watching this lecture, you need to revise it. And after revision, you don't have to worry about current affairs because they are consolidated in your memory. All right then. On that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again with another set of current affairs. Thank you.